Christopher was an active, happy kid, well liked by his peers, and a beloved son. The tragedy of his death would start a long journey towards the creation of a system that could keep children like him from the same fate. This week's episode is the Christopher Stephenson case.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Besties and Body Dumps. I'm Kendra.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jen.
So we celebrated a milestone this week in our lovely group of best friends here. It was Jen's 30th birthday yesterday.
Woo!
I turned 30.
And
welcome to the club.
Well, finally, welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Some of us are about to hit another milestone. And by about to, I mean in another 8 months. But that's okay.
We're not there yet, Kendra.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about me.
Don't rush
first.
it.
Yeah, Sarah's first.
Oh, that's true. Sarah is first. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, well.
But for those of us who follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, they would have seen that we may or may not have surprised Jen with a little bit of a birthday surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lovely birthday parade. As a surprise, it was amazing. It made me cry a little bit.
Aww.
Complete with birthday balloons.
Fun.
Yes, it was very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. It was so very thankful for the friends that I have.
It was a birthday quarantine style. Dirty 30 quarantine style.
Yep.
And I did drink a bottle of champagne all to myself last night.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
As you should.
Because what's a birthday without some champagne?
Mm-hmm. Especially not a 30th birthday.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So how's quarantine treating everybody else? And by everybody else, I mean Sarah.
Same old. It's just,
I don't know. There's a development that's happened. You're now living in a 5-star hotel, then you get chocolates on your pillow at night.
This is true, yes. The Easter Bunny came at Easter last week, and then there's been just little chocolates show up every once in a while in the apartment, which is lovely.
It helps
part of me wants to find.
Yeah, it helps that Sarah's partner doesn't eat chocolate. So, because he's weird.
Nope.
But it means that she gets to eat all the Easter chocolate. I have to.
Like everyone's just like, oh God, he doesn't eat chocolate, and I'm like, yeah, it works out perfectly for me. Nobody touches my chocolate stash, and nobody touches my coffee stash because he doesn't like coffee either. So it's a beautiful
really
system.
Weird.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, well, if he wasn't weird, I wouldn't date him.
And or chocolate.
Oh, I couldn't, flat out. But
especially when they're together, it's delicious.
Oh, right?
Chocolate espresso and mint chocolate chip ice cream, right, Sarah?
Oh, stop. Now I'm hungry. And I don't need caffeine before bed.
Oh, God, no.
Did anyone else notice Sarah's stewardess voice in our teaser intro there?
My professional, I can't help it. It's like my mom, when I was growing up, we had the work line forwarded to home when my dad wasn't in the office, and my mom would answer the phone, and you could always tell because the ringtone was different, so she'd answer the phone to be a totally different voice. Hello, Flo speaking. And now I'm turning into my mother, and any semi-professional setting, and I bring out the fancy voice.
Notice she went back to her normal voice before the 20-second teaser was over, though.
Sometimes you just gotta get rid of your flight attendant voice. You realize you got it, and you're like, oh crap.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I'm used to using it at work, right? Depending on who's calling, I'm either very laid back and will swear on the phone, or I'm extremely professional. So
I've been the recipient of both of those when you didn't know it was me calling, or when you knew it was me calling. So, yeah, I know that one.
When my call display works and when it doesn't.
When I call from work and when I call from my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So for this case, we ended up taking a deep dive down the rabbit hole because, what else do we have to do, really?
Mm-hmm.
So,
besides
Jen?
thin research, is true.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jen, do you want to get us started?
So today we're talking about Joseph Fredericks. Now, Joseph Fredericks was born in 1943. He was one of 13 children.
Out.
Too many
Born in the
children.
Ottawa area. A lot of kids.
Sarah's bluntness here. Too many children. Just blank.
Well, again, too many kids for me. If that's your thing, then great. More power to you. But I
don't know,
will
Sarah.
never.
I remember in our younger drunken days, makes it sound like
Don't know what you're talking about.
we were having a conversation about you wanting to be Sally Homemaker, Baby Maker.
Yeah, but I mean, there's Baby Maker and then there's 13 kids. So
13 is just the wrong number.
it's
not a good number.
12's okay then.
There's that.
12's okay, it's an even number.
It's better than 13. Yes, I will cop to that.
So the family was known in the Ottawa area to have a reputation, bad reputation at that. They were considered to be defective or of borderline intelligence.
Again,
so insulting. Oh.
Yeah. It's not a good word.
Yeah, defective is really not what you want to be described as.
No, not at all. Not at all. So he, being one of 13 kids, he ended up in the Child's Aid Society system at a very young age. He spent most of his childhood, or not most of it, all of his childhood, in and out of different foster homes. And the longest time he spent in one foster home was a year.
Which is just, there's no stability there. None.
No, absolutely not.
Years. Yeah, that's so sad.
So, of course, that being said, he got into a lot of trouble. He was a runaway. I can only imagine the craziness that went on in those early years for that poor kid.
Mm-hmm. Especially because, like, now, and I'm not saying that this is the case for the foster homes he was in necessarily, but rules and legislation around the safety of foster kids definitely came into play much later. There wasn't as much screening for foster parents in the 40s, 50s. So who knows whose house he was living in.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So we're going to jump quite a few years forward. We're going to jump over to 1954. And at this time, he was at the Smith Falls Hospital, is where he was admitted to after, being a kid that was in a lot of trouble constantly, involving the police or not involving the police, running away. He ended up at this hospital. During his stay there, he unfortunately assaulted an 11-year-old girl. Ugh. This is crazy. And he also threatened a boy at gunpoint.
So,
he was just a young preteen.
Yeah, and where did he get the gun?
Right? Yeah. I don't understand either. Like, how? Mind you, we're going to look at it's a totally different time, right?
True. Yeah, this is true.
He also, there were several sexual misdemeanors towards their young children at the hospital at that time, too, which is just stuff.
Great.
This isn't trending well to begin with.
Mm-mm. Considering he's 11 years old at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Started at a very young age. So at 1959, he was transferred to the mental health center in Penetang at their maximum security facility of Oak Ridge.
So, for listeners of previous episodes, this should probably ring a bell. Wayne Bowden also spent a good chunk of his time at Penetang.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
To 1980, wouldn't they have been there at the same time?
Oh, yeah, you're
1959.
right.
Yeah, to 1980, yep.
Yeah, they would have overlapped.
1980, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, they could have very possibly known each other. So while he was there, he was diagnosed as a psychopathic homosexual pedophile.
The psychopathic homosexual part, he probably would have known Bowden.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
That's true.
Yeah. So a lovely individual. Yeah.
Keep going, Jen.
And of course, there's many incidents involving patients. while he was there. In 1963, he was moved from moved from maximum to minimum security. So at age 20, and in the span of the month, he escaped and sexually assaulted a 6-year-old at knife point and sodomized a 15-year-old boy.
So, like, why did they think they could bring him back to minimum security? I mean, I guess they were trying to rehabilitate him, but I mean, clearly that was a bad choice.
Your treatments aren't working.
Oh,
Here's your first clue.
yeah.
So, of course, he was then returned back to the maximum security, but unfortunately, no charges were laid against him for the assaults, which, ah,
Well, yeah,
um,
but it's because he was there, like, he had been
yeah,
admitted there under the Mental Health Act. So, it was kinda like, okay, he's already basically, you know, under lock and key, so it's weird
true.
legal.
You can't put him into another box.
Yeah, exactly.
He later stated to one of his doctors, though, that he had wished he'd killed the girl.
That's healthy.
Nothing like some brutal honesty. Here you go, doc. I wish I had killed the girl. Like,
Hmm.
yeah. So then again, in 1980, he was transferred to another psychiatric hospital, this time to St. Thomas. He was a difficult patient.
Really?
Shocked.
I hadn't thought.
Mm.
No, no. He's already had incidents at three different establishments now. And
That
we're going to put him in a
would.
fourth one and hope that something good is going to happen. But no, he was a difficult patient. So they again transferred him back to Penetang after he assaulted a female with the mentality of a child.
Which, oh, that's horrible.
So
So
at
Oh.
that time, like, that's crazy.
yeah, well, that makes you wonder what about children he was like